Welcome back everyone to some more beamng.drive. Sitting here on West Coast map on the dirt track. Going to be running the same 3 cars as we did last time. And see how they do here. And keep running tabs everything. So we're starting out with the Ibishu Covet 1.5 LTI or something. I cannot quite remember now. DXI, there we go. 1.5 DXI. And let's see how this goes. Now, there is a major jump on this map that cars, after they've taken damage and such, or if they're just slow, kind of like this Covet is, there is a jump we'll be seeing here in a second that they may not be able to handle. This one right here. So, because it would be a little unfair if they still get up and go to keep going. It'd be a little unfair just to count them out just because they couldn't make that jump, or because they couldn't climb over it after failing to make it. So, as long as they're still functional and they fail that jump, I will allow them to, well, I will drive them up along the side and continue on, but they take a penalty. Whoa, this car just barely made that. They'll take a penalty, which will usually be them crashing into that landing ramp. So, penalty is just damage to self. And our radiator is already leaking here. But, hopefully she's still got some get and go in her. We've already completed the first lap. Yes, this track is a lot shorter, but it has bigger jumps on it and such that can really screw vehicles up, and a lot more handling areas which cars will have issues with once their steering starts going. And no, I'm not trying to land these jumps perfectly, I'm just kind of flooring it. Just on those two, it had the perfect mounting speed already. And I'm not going to do, I will slow down a bit on the jumps, like that. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I'm also not going to try and get it perfectly so it lands perfect. We've got a little bit more air there on that jump. And into bumpy section, and first roll over. Shut off the engine here, as I said before I would, and let's roll this thing over. So far this is the car to roll over the most. I think it's the only car to roll over this far, but that can be quite a punishment to its stability. Oh, there's our bumper again. And we have made it to the second lap, and as I think I got around to saying, yes, because it's smaller, the laps will go by a lot quicker, and we'll have higher lap counts, but there's a few areas that I'm seeing, well, kill a lot of cars, this right here being one of them. But, yeah, I got sidetracked earlier, but as I was saying, as they start to have steering issues, these sharper curves will provide to be treacherous, and they can end up in the wall, which could damage steering further, or do some engine damage or such. And our suspension in that front right is dead, because it did not spring up at all, so we ended up landing hard on it again. And our car is starting to slow, but we were still able to make that jump. Let's try not to flip this time. There we go. Making it to the final jump here before the next lap. And our coolant is overheating as we get onto the next lap. So, this should be our 4th lap. I'm sorry, I've been talking to myself here, just trying to iterate stuff, so kind of lost track of the laps. This should be our 4th lap right now, and I'm pretty sure it is, because, yes, or no, maybe this is only our 3rd, I don't know, I'll have to watch it back and do it post. Or do it in post, do it in editing to figure out exactly. This is either Going to be completion of our third or fourth lap. Pretty sure it's the fourth, though. And here we go. On to the next lap. I'm not even going to say lap we're on right now because I am not sure. I will slap that in later. Just each time I say it, I'll probably have to edit it in again. Which I'll probably just add a lap counter up in the top hand corner anyway. And our oil is overheating as we're passing over the first few jumps. And head gasket is damaged. Got one more decent jump before the big jump. And we are not going to have the power to make it over that jump. I highly doubt that. I'm going to try and swing a wide corner to keep as much speed as we can. I think, yep, we need around, I think it's like 42 mile per hour to get over that. And this vehicle is, oh wait, okay, that was acting weird, but this car is dead on the big jump, as I said. It would probably kill a lot of them due to loss of speed over time. If it weren't for the fact that the engine was about to lock up and that wheel axle was broken, we could have climbed up this left side and gone behind the siding there, but it was not meant to be. Take a little look at this damage. This is some nice damage to look at. Some heavier damage up on that front end. Windows broken all around, bumper falling off. Hood caved, or roof caved in slightly, and look at that bend from landings. And on to our second vehicle of this map, the Bishu Pessima. As you saw in the last one, I thought it would do better, but did not. This is the 2.0 LX. And let's see how she compares to the Corvette before her. Yes, I know I'm doing two Ibishus in one set, but I just figured that these were kind of the bottom of the barrel, and so they'd be good to start with. I'm not meaning bottom of the barrel as in quality or anything, like Corvette probably is, but I'm just meaning in stability and durability. These will probably not handle the best. And if we remember from the last one, this thing's axle gave out, so these heavy hits are probably not going to fare well for it, and our radiator is leaking as we hit the first set of the large jump. Land's a little bouncy, and I had a little odd of camera work there, which I apologize for, but we're still going, and somehow we have damaged our left tail light. But such is life, and our front end's not looking the prettiest right now. As we complete our first lap. And as we saw with the Corvette, I will sometimes lose track of laps. That's just because they go so fast on this map that it's hard for me to keep track of. Especially with me trying to keep some sort of conversation going so it's not just dead sound. I kind of lose track of it. Got a nice camera angle for that launch. But our doors are starting to actually peel away from the car from the impacts. Surprised the windows have not shattered on them. As we approach the big jump the second time, still really bouncy on that landing, and it'll probably only get worse as our suspension is dying. But such is the nature of jumping in a stock vehicle, or more stock vehicle. This isn't the lowest version of this car, I don't think, but it's pretty dang low. It ain't no rally car. This thing is starting to overheat now. And I'm not sure where our standings are because of not realizing where the Corvette ended up. But car is taking a hammering now. It's not landing the jumps very cleanly. As we are about to finish our third lap after these next few jumps. Piston rings are damaged. This thing is on its last legs already. Man, the Corvette must be more durable than I thought. This thing's length and weight is probably not helping much, but we have completed the third lap as the smoke billows out. I doubt we will make it to the big jump a third time, but we shall see. Okay, our temperature gauge, now that I look at it again, is completely maxed. But it looks like we may make it to the big jump. Another time. Should be fourth time. Oil's overheating now. Don't know how that happened after the piston rings were damaged, but ooh, barely made that. Ooh, head gasket is now damaged. Oh yeah, I guess it is piston rings then head gasket, sorry. But yes. Ooh, and that just killed the front left tire. We will not... Oh, wait. Nope. We will not make it to the finish of the fourth lap. We were just shy, but steering gave out on this thing again. Same wheel. And that's all she wrote. Let's cut off the engine. Oh, I guess that won't get rid of all the steam due to overheating. But this is the state of our car. Decent amount of damage in the front again. But ultimately it was the steering that took it out. And for our final car for today, the one that in the last map I thought would do the worst, I picked it as kind of just a for giggles vehicle, but it ended up doing the best. So we shall see how she does now. This place does have some bigger jumps than the last, so we'll just see how it turns out, as the ESC fights me all along the way. Last time I had turned it off, but as steering got worse, I had to turn it back on, so I'm just going to leave it on now. I do have it in Sport ESC at least, but it does not quite like dirt areas with any sort of ESC on. Because anytime it loses grip, it tries to fight it, and that was a huge launch. I shot a bit more left than I usually do, but he seems to be surviving it. We have lost our bumper, and it is actually underneath us. Okay, making an exception here. Normally I would have forced it to do that jump, but the only reason we can't make that jump is because of the bumper that's stuck underneath us. So I am going to give it a mulligan and remove that bumper, but it's still there, so it can run into it again. Let's get this party rolling again. And she makes the jump, just barely. I would have expected it to launch over it, but it was also starting from dead stop. And our right front steering is starting to go. Pretty sure it's the right front that's damaged. I'm not exactly sure, but it is pulling to the right now as we complete our first lap. I know I said that I didn't expect this thing to last as long on the last one, and then it went further, but with its already steering issues and the stinking ESC, I'm not sure how well it's going to do here, as it kills my power every time I slide around a corner or catch air. Getting a bit annoying. But we are approaching where our bumper lays. I'm gonna try. Oh, I was going to try and dodge it, and then my car swung to the right, but we freed ourselves of it with barely enough speed to make it over that big jump. And we are approaching second lap finish, but our left front tire is dead in the water now. That's going to cause issues. I may end up having to turn the ESC off just to get power now because of this. Ooh, will she? Oh. She barely kept from hurting herself further there. But it's becoming a bear to control, especially on the right-hand turns. Left's no problem. You turn right and it gets a bit shady there. And I am not sure we're going to be able to make it over that big jump anymore, with our left front slowing us down, dragging sideways. That was a nice jump there, though. And blazing around that corner. Should have just turned off ESC to start out with, but you live and you learn. And ooh, barely made it yet again. That left front tire is messing with us pretty bad, but able to scrape along the wall there to survive. And yes, I know this thing technically isn't making the turns, but there we go. It suffers damage when it bounces off of a wall, so I'm letting it happen. It's just making the steering worse and worse each time, so yet again with this map, oh, blessings disguised as punishments, but that hit did kill the engine. That was our third lap that we just completed, if I remember right, so we should be on the fourth. So, the ratings for this one should be, I will put it on the screen if I'm wrong with the Covet. I think the Covet was on its fourth lap in first and failed the jump and crashed into it, killing killing the left front, making it impossible to drive right before the engine died from overheating. The Pessima, making it almost onto its fourth lap, just back there, but losing a front wheel and costing it every ounce of power it had. And then finally, in last, the please see, I'm sorry for pronouncing it wrong, ETK800, which just made it to the start of its fourth lap, instead of completion like the Pessima did, and suffering a main engine break due to bouncing off the wall, because that tire was not okay. As you see, nothing happens when you steer it, so that's going to be all for today. I'll throw the standings up on the screen if I haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.